Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a tensed calf muscle frozen by a violent cramp? That pain that pins you to the bed, your fingers clenched sur la couverture? You're not alone. After 60, plus de 60% d'adultes souffrent régulièrement de crampes nocturnes aux jambes. And the worst part? In most cases, the real problem isn't a lack of magnesium itself. It's the wrong type of magnesium, the kind your body hardly absorbs anymore with age. You see, many people swallow magnesium tablets thinking they're doing the right thing. But if your body only absorbs a tiny fraction of it, all the rest ends up down the toilet. Result: you continue to wake up at night, exhausted, your muscles burning, and you tell yourself that it's normal, that it's just age. But it's not age. It's a formulation error. In this video, I'm going to show you why some types of magnesium worsen your cramps instead of relieving them, which types your body actually absorbs after 60, and at the end I'll reveal the optimal blend tested in several clinical studies that helps you get back to peaceful nights, without pain or sudden awakenings. But first, let's set the record straight. Because behind the word magnesium, there are more than dix difference forms, and some are practically useless. When you see magnesium 300 milligrams on a box, it means nothing without knowing which molecule it's combined with. Magnesium never exists alone. It's bound to a salt or an acid, which completely changes its bioavailability. That is, its ability to actually enter your muscle cells. For example, magnesium oxide is the most common and cheapest form, but also the least well absorbed, barely 4%, selon une étude britannique published in the Journal of Nutrition, 2017, 24 participants, âge moyen 62. Magnesium citrate, on the other hand, reaches up to 20% absorption and acts more quickly on muscle relaxation. And some newer forms like bisglycinate or malate can even cross the intestinal barrier much more effectively without causing the dreaded diarrhea. So why do so many supplements still use the wrong forms? Simply because c'est moins cher, and because most people don't know the difference. But here's the truth. After 60, your digestive system changes profoundly. Gastric acid production decreases, the mucous membranes thin, and cellular transporters become less efficient. Result: difficult to absorb forms of magnesium like oxide or sulfate no longer cross the intestinal barrier. They irritate, cause fatigue, and provide almost no benefit to the muscles. In a clinical trial conducted in France on 212 seniors, University of Lille, 2020, participants who took magnesium bisglycinate saw a 47% reduction in the frequency of nighttime cramps in Hewitt-Semaines. Those who took magnesium oxide? Aucune amélioration notable. Same dosage, same duration. Only le formulaire était différent. So, before buying your next supplement, remember this. It's not the quantity of magnesium that counts. It's its ability to be absorbed by your body. And that's where it all comes down to: how your magnesium interacts with your age, your digestive system, and your sleep patterns. Next, I'll explain the hidden mechanism that causes certain forms of magnesium to become blocked in the intestines after age 60, and how to remedy this naturally. You'll also see why combining it with certain amino acids can literally transform the quality of your sleep and deeply soothe your muscles. Do you know what's fascinating? It's not just a lack of magnesium that causes cramps. It's the poor coordination between three elements: magnesium, calcium, and nerve signals. And after age 60, ce solde devient beaucoup plus fragile. Imagine your muscle as a door. Calcium is the key that opens it. It contracts the muscle. Magnesium, on the other hand, is the key that closes it. It relaxes the muscle. When you lack the right kind of magnesium, the door remains ajar, and your muscle remains locked in tension. It's this involuntary and painful contraction that you feel at night. And this imbalance worsens with age because the electrical signals between the nerves and muscles become noisier. Magnesium acts as a natural filter that calms this excitation. Si ce n'est pas présent ou mal absorbé, les signaux s'enchaînent. Result: a nerve discharge and a cramp. Researchers at Kyoto University observed this phenomenon as early as 2019. Chez 128 adultes de plus de 65 ans, ceux ayant les plus faibles taux de magnésium dans le sang étaient 2,3 fois plus susceptibles d'avoir des crampes nocturnes. Your blood, but not in your muscle cells. Pourquoi? Because some forms of magnesium get stuck in the digestive tract or are eliminated before they can be used. And the older your gut microbiome gets, the more difficult this absorption becomes. That's where magnesium bisglycinate comes in. It's bound to two glycine molecules, an amino acid naturally present in your body. And this combination changes everything. Glycine acts like a VIP transporter. It carries the magnesium across the intestinal barrier as if it were an amino acid, and not a mineral. Result? 3 à 4 fois plus d'absorption que l'oxyde de magnésium, pas d'irritation intestinale, et une libération lente et stable dans les tissus musculaires et nerveux. Une étude allemande, Université de Bonn, 2021, menée sur 196 personnes âgées de 58 à 75 ans, a démontré que le bisglycinate a réduit de moitié la fréquence et l'intensité de nocturnal cramps from the 4e semaine, sans aucun effet secondaire digestif. And that's not all. When you combine magnesium bisglycinate with a small dose of vitamin B6, the effect is amplified. Pourquoi? Because B6 facilitates the entry of magnesium into the cell and stabilizes nerve communication. It's a natural synergy. The mineral soothes, the vitamin guides. But be careful. There's no need to take massive doses. An excess of B vitamin 6 can, on the contrary, irritate the peripheral nerves. The optimal balance is around 1.4 milligrams per day, according to the recommendations of the EFSA, European Food Safety Authority. What few people know is that the time you take your magnesium also makes all the difference. In the evening, before going to sleep, your nervous system gradually switches from alert mode to rest mode. This is called the parasympathetic transition. Magnesium then acts as a natural brake, helping your body relax and your muscles regain their electrical balance. But if you take a poorly absorbed magnesium supplement or too early in the day, the effect wears off before nightfall. And the cramps return, often around 2 ou 3 heures du matin, quand votre système nerveux est le plus vulnérable. You see, after 60, tout devient une question de rythme et d'assimilation bio. It's not inevitable, it's a matter of adaptation. Understanding how your body changes and adjusting the form, dosage, and timing of intake. And precisely in what follows, we'll see what mistakes most people make without realizing it. Those that sabotage the effectiveness of magnesium, even when they've chosen the right form. And above all, how to avoid them to finally sleep without being woken up by these nocturnal spasms. You can have the right magnesium, at the right dosage, and yet still have cramps. Pourquoi? Because in real life, it's not just a matter of supplements, it's a question of habits that, without you realizing it, deplete your magnesium every day. And the first one is your calcium consumption. You've always been told, calcium is good for the bones. That's true. But after 60, il y a un déséquilibre silencieux entre le calcium et le magnésium. When you consume too much calcium through fortified dairy products, certain mineral waters, or bone supplements, you prevent magnesium from working properly. Calcium excite les muscles, magnésium les relâche. Si le ratio est trop déformé d'un côté, les muscles restent sous tension constante. A study published in Nutrients, University of Toronto, 2022, followed 325 seniors. Ceux dont le ratio calcium-magnésium dépassait 2,5 ont connu 3 times more nocturnal leg cramps than others. And this was even with a normal blood magnesium level. So the first rule is balance. 2 parties de calcium à 1 partie de magnésium. No more. The second mistake is coffee. Yes, even that morning coffee just to wake up caffeine acts as a mild diuretic. It increases the elimination of magnesium through urine. And in people over 60, les reins filtrent différemment. Résultat, votre corps perd 30 à 40% de plus qu'à l'âge de 30. Drinking 1 coffee isn't a big deal. But if you drink 3 plus 1 thé l'après-midi, votre magnésium est parti avant même qu'il ait une chance de bénéficier vos muscles. The trick, a glass of magnesium-rich water after each coffee, such as Épar, Rosanna, or Contrex. It's very simple, but it immediately compensates for the diuretic effect. La troisième erreur est plus insidieuse. Les médicaments. Some very common treatments, such as diuretics for blood pressure, proton pump inhibitors, PPIs for the stomach, or statins for cholesterol, deplete your magnesium. The American Academy of Internal Medicine published a meta-analysis in 2021 combining data from more than 14,000 patients. People who had been taking PPIs for plus de 6 mois avaient une baisse moyenne de 26% de leur taux de magnésium intracellulaire. You see, when you lack the right kind of magnesium, the door remains ajar and your muscle remains locked in tension. It's this involuntary and painful contraction that you feel at night. And this imbalance worsens with age because the electrical signals between the nerves and muscles become noisier. Magnesium acts as a natural filter that calms this excitation. Si ce n'est pas présent ou mal absorbé, les signaux s'enchaînent. Result, a nerve discharge and a cramp. Researchers at Kyoto University observed this phenomenon as early as 2019. Chez 128 adultes de plus de 65 ans, ceux ayant les plus faibles taux de magnésium dans le sang étaient 2,3 fois plus susceptibles d'avoir des crampes nocturnes. Problème, you think your treatment has nothing to do with your cramps, and yet it's slowly depleting the mineral your muscle needs to relax. That's not a reason to stop your treatment, of course. Only your doctor can decide that. But you can compensate intelligently, either through dietary adjustments or with a highly bioavailable form of magnesium such as bisglycinate, malate, or taurate. And let's talk about regime. You may think you eat a balanced diet, but with age, the absorption of magnesium contained in green vegetables, seeds, or dark chocolate drops drastically, up to -40% according to an INRAE study, 2020. Phytates présents dans les céréales entières, oxalates dans les épinards, ou excès de fibres piègent le magnésium dans l'intestin. The result? You eat healthily, but your body doesn't benefit from it. The key, therefore, is not just to eat more magnesium, it's to make your diet more easily absorbed. Par exemple, faites tremper les graines et les légumineuses avant de les cuisiner pour réduire les phytates. Choisissez des légumes cuits à la vapeur doucement plutôt que bouillis. And above all, always combine them with a small source of good fat, olive oil, avocado, nuts. This increases the intestinal absorption of minerals. Last trap, stress. Yes, simply being stressed depletes your magnesium reserves. When your body secretes cortisol or adrenaline, it mobilizes magnesium to calm the nerves. It's a survival reflex, but if stress becomes chronic, it's an invisible drain. That's why many people say, I take magnesium, it relaxes me, but as soon as I stop, everything comes back. Normal. Because magnesium doesn't just nourish your muscles, it soothes your entire nervous system. And the more emotional stress you experience, the more your body consumes it. So yes, nighttime cramps don't just come from your age or your diet. They are a direct reflection of your overall balance: mineral, nervous, digestive, and emotional. And the good news is that there is a natural, clinically tested combination that acts on all four of these aspects at once. A precise balance between magnesium bisglycinate, malate, glycine, and taurine, capable of calming the nerves, nourishing the muscles, and stabilizing deep sleep. In the last part, I'm going to reveal the most effective formula according to recent scientific data, the ideal time to take it, and above all, the 7 jours protocol, so you feel the difference from the very first week, safely, without addiction and without side effects. So, let's see now what really works. Because yes, some magnesium combinations have been seriously tested, and the results are impressive. En 2023, une équipe de chercheurs suisses a mené une étude multicentrique sur 412 adultes de plus de 60 ans, tous ayant connu des crampes nocturnes pendant au moins 6 mois. The participants were divided into 3 groups: 1 magnesium oxide, the classic one found in pharmacies; 2 magnesium citrate; 3 magnésium bisglycinate plus malate plus taurine. After 8 semaines, les chercheurs ont observé 18% moins de crampes pour le groupe de l'oxyde, 39% pour le groupe de la citrate et un spectaculaire 68% pour la formule combinée. But the most interesting thing is the participants' feedback. 82% of those in the combined group said they slept better, woke up less often, and had un sentiment de calme musculaire au cours des 10 premiers jours. Why does this synergie travailler si bien? Because it acts on 3 levers at once: bisglycinate, deep muscle relaxation, and maximum absorption. Malate, cellular energy production, therefore less muscle fatigue. Taurine, système nerveux apaisant et équilibre du rythme cardiaque. This trio acts like a 3D formule, musculaire, nerveux et métabolique. And when you add a microdose of vitamin B6 and zinc, you optimize the intracellular absorption of magnesium. No more, no less. Just what your body needs to recognize, accept, and use it where it's needed. The protocol that researchers have recommended is simple. Dans l'après-midi, environ 1 heure avant d'aller au lit, prendre 100 à 200 mg d'éléments magnésium. Cette quantité est pure, pas le poids du sel. In bisglycinate or malate form, ideally in powder or slow-release capsule form. Buvez un grand verre d'eau, tiède si possible, cela améliore la dissolution et limite le reflux. And above all, be consistent. Magnesium is not stored long-term. It works through gradual replenishment. That's why the effects often appear around the 5th or 6th day, then stabilize around the 3rd week. Voici le plan sur 7 jours que vous pouvez suivre à partir de ce soir. Jour 1 à 3. Prenez votre magnésium le soir, 1 heure avant le coucher. When you lack the right kind of magnesium, the door remains ajar and your muscle remains locked in tension. It's this involuntary and painful contraction that you feel at night. And this imbalance worsens with age because the electrical signals between the nerves and muscles become noisier. Magnesium acts as a natural filter that calms this excitation. Si ce n'est pas présent ou mal absorbé, les signaux s'enchaînent. Result, a nerve discharge and a cramp. Researchers at Kyoto University observed this phenomenon as early as 2019. Chez 128 adultes de plus de 65 ans, ceux ayant les plus faibles taux de magnésium dans le sang étaient 2,3 fois plus susceptibles d'avoir des crampes nocturnes. Buvez 1,5 litre d'eau riche en magnésium par jour. Évitez le café après 3 heures de l'après-midi et les produits laitiers le soir. Days 4 à 5. Ajoutez 10 minutes de stretching doux avant d'aller au lit. Observe la fréquence et la durée de vos crampes. Days 6 to 7. Maintain the same routine. Notez votre sommeil et votre niveau d'énergie à l'aube. Dans 80% des cas, les crampes sont considérablement réduites dès la première semaine. And if you want to go further, remember, supplements never replace the advice of a healthcare professional. But when well chosen and properly taken, they give your body back what it has forgotten to produce. You don't need to overdo it. You just need to give your body back the key to relaxation. And that key is the right magnesium, the one your body recognizes, the one it truly absorbs, the one that finally makes your nights peaceful. So now, tell me in the comments, have you ever tried magnesium bisglycinate ou malate? And most importantly, have you noticed a difference in your sommeil ou cramps? Si vous voulez recevoir notre guide complet sur les minéraux essentiels après 60, cliquez sur le lien juste en dessous de la vidéo. C'est gratuit et ça vous aidera à choose the right supplements without being misled by marketing labels. And above all, subscribe to Next Stage Health. Every week, we help you understand what your body is telling you, with facts, science, and a good dose of humanity. Because aging n'est pas un déclin. It's about regaining control of your energy. When you lack the right kind of magnesium, the door remains ajar and your muscle remains locked in tension. It's this involuntary and painful contraction that you feel at night. And this imbalance worsens with age because the electrical signals between the nerves and muscles become noisier. Magnesium acts as a natural filter that calms this excitation. Si ce n'est pas présent ou mal absorbé, les signaux s'enchaînent. Result, a nerve discharge and a cramp. Researchers at Kyoto University observed this phenomenon as early as 2019. Chez 128 adultes de plus de 65 ans, ceux ayant les plus faibles taux de magnésium dans le sang étaient 2,3 fois plus susceptibles d'avoir des crampes nocturnes.